Hello and welcome to day 9 of the Halloween Craft Countdown, where I'm sharing a Cricut paper craft project that's Halloween related every day for 20 days. After yesterday's giant sign, which was a lot of work, don't worry, today's project is much easier. We're going to be making these cute little treat boxes. 3 different SVGs are included and each one has a different pattern on the top of the box. The tops lift off so that you can show off all of your, they're escaping, all of the sweets inside. Let's just put that lid back on and keep them all nice and secure. The SVGs for these treat boxes are free to download for the next 24 hours. If you've not already registered for your free ticket for the Halloween Craft Countdown, go to craftwithsarah.com/HCC. If you have already registered, here's how to get the free SVGs. If you've already registered your free ticket, check for an email from me with subject line Halloween Craft Countdown ticket information or any of the other emails from me that you have been sent throughout the countdown. Can't find them? Check your junk or spam box to see if they've gone there by mistake. These emails contain the link to view the countdown projects and download today's files. Scroll down this page to find today's project. Click the button to start the files automatically downloading to your computer or mobile device. Each download is only available for free for 24 hours after it goes live. If you've missed some, check out the Instant Access Bundle at craftwithsarah.com/HCC bundle, which gives immediate and ongoing access to all of the files and projects from the Halloween Craft Countdown. All downloads come in zip folders. You will need to unzip them before you can upload the files into Cricut Design Space. Once you've downloaded and unzipped a folder, it's time to upload the Treatbox SVG files into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and start a new project, and then go into Upload over on the left, and then Upload Image. You can then either click Browse to find the files on your computer, or drag and drop them in. Make sure you choose the unzipped version of the folder, and then within there's another folder called Cut Files. This splits out the files into 3 different file formats: DXF, PNG, and SVG. For Cricut Design Space, you need the files which start SVG, so we'll double click in there, and then you see we've got our 3 designs: bats, skull, and spider web. Make sure you choose the files which start SVG in the file name. Let's go for the spiderweb one. So I'll click and drag that in, and then it should look something like this. So that's all looking good. I'll press upload, and then here it is. So I can click on it in my recent uploads. It gives you that green border so you know it's selected. Then press add to canvas. It should load in at the correct size, but just in case, it's a good idea to check. So I've put the sizes in the description in the written part of this tutorial. So I won't put them in the video, but look at the written part and they're in there so that you can check the size of the box that you're going to make. I'll zoom out a bit so you can see, and each of these treat boxes looks kind of the same. It's just the picture in the middle that's different. This one over here, this is the lid, and then we've got the main box there. And then a square. The square is designed to be cut from acetate, so transparent material that will stick on the inside of the lid to hide all of the little bits so that your treats aren't going to fall out. If you don't have any acetate, then you can cut the design without the square. So if that's the case, just click the eye icon next to it in the layers panel to hide it, and then it won't get cut out. Before we cut this, we need to convert all of our lines into score lines. To do this, first look for the layer in the layers panel, which looks like lots of just single lines. And this is the one in the lid. It should be the second one down. Click it in the layers panel, and then over in the operations menu, change it to score. And then it will change into a dashed line to show that it's now a score line. And then do the same for the next layer, which looks similar. It should be the one that appears above your bottom bit. Again, we'll change this to score. If I zoom in a little bit, you can see a bit easier what it's done. This is now saying score for both of those, which is perfect. However, we're not quite finished yet because if I was to click Make It Now, it's going to do all of those score lines on a completely random piece of card and not on top of the actual box templates, which is obviously not what we want. We need to tell the Cricut where to do those score lines. First, click on the whole design and press Ungroup at the top of the Layers panel. It's important you do that to separate out all of the layers, otherwise the next part of this video won't work properly. Click on your first set of score lines, press Shift on your keyboard and choose the layer underneath, which is our main box lid, and then with both of those selected, press Attach down at the bottom of the Layers panel. And then do the same for the main piece of the box. Another way to select it is by clicking and dragging a little box that just touches those two layers. So you can see that selected only those two, then press Attach. Now when I press Make It, my score lines are exactly where they should be. And this would now be ready to go and cut out with my cardstock and my acetate. If you've not cut acetate with your Cricut before, if you have the Maker or the Maker 3, then you can go into your material settings and there is one in there for acetate. I've never used the Explore machine, so I'm not sure if it's the same for that. But one thing I will say is that I tried the acetate setting on my Maker 3 and it did 3 passes with the blade. So it went around those edges 3 times and still did not cut through my acetate. So I don't actually like that acetate setting at all on the Maker 3. Instead, I often use either the heavy cardstock or the craft board setting. And for me, that seems to cut through my acetate much better. Another tip to stop your acetate moving around on your mat is to add some washi tape or masking tape around the edges. Because it's plastic, it can move about on the mat a bit easier than say your cardstock would do. So by adding the tape, it just means it's going to be nice and sturdy and it's not going to move about when your Cricut's trying to cut it. All right, so go ahead, get everything cut out, and then I'll show you how to stick together your little Halloween treat boxes. Here are my pieces for one of the gift boxes cut out. So I've got the bottom, the lid, and the acetate to go inside. And first we're going to stick the acetate onto the back of the top, but first we need to fold up all the score lines. It's just easier to fold it up before we stick the acetate on. So I'm going to turn this upside down and then along all of the score lines, I'm going to fold them inwards. So every single one of the score lines just gets folded either upwards or inwards towards you. Okay, there we go. And now I'm going to glue my acetate inside of here. So just a little bit of glue around the cutout. Don't go too close to the edges of the box because the acetate won't go all the way to those edges. So just a little bit around there and then a little bit inside the pictures if you want to. And get your acetate and just stick it in place. Make sure you don't go over any of the fold lines. It just goes straight in that middle section. And then gently push it down to make sure it will stick. Now the next bit's the time-consuming bit, and that is waiting for that to completely dry before you do anything else. Because if you try and move it about when it's wet, you'll probably find that the acetate will pop off just because of how it's made from plastic. It just doesn't get that proper stick until the glue's dry. So what I'm going to do instead is bring in one that I stuck together yesterday. So this is the skull design. I've got my lid and my box section. My glue's completely dry, so let's stick it all together. For these boxes, it's easiest to stick them together with double-sided tape because that way you don't need to wait for things to dry on the edges and you're not left sort of holding all the corners in place waiting for that glue to dry. For the lid, how this works is You've got these little tabs on the sides. They're going to stick to the side next to it to create the edges. And then these extra flaps will fold. Let's try and show you without it being stuck together. They then fold over to create extra stability. So what we're going to do is open this out and then stick our double-sided tape. I've got a tape runner, but you don't have to use one of these. Just any double-sided tape will do. And I'm going to completely cover all of the inner rectangles on each side. So I'm making sure I don't go into the middle and I don't go over any of the fold lines. So just put my tape down there and try and get close to the edge if you can. My tape's quite thin, so I'm doing 2 strips for extra stability. I missed a little bit on that one, so it can have 3. All right, so now we're going to do the first part, which is sticking all the tabs in. So this side will come up, and then this tab sticks to this side at a right angle. So it's going to make the sides of the lid. And if you look at it from the outside, you'll end up with the perfect looking corner. And then just work your way through all of the sides. It's a little bit fiddly. You might end up getting stuck to the double-sided tape a little bit. And then on the last one, that one goes in there. And then this little tab in that side. Sticking myself to the tape like I just said I would. And that's the tabs done. So now we just need to fold down the second half of these rectangles and stick that to the remaining tape. And there we go, lid done. So let's get to work on the box. This is very similar, but it just doesn't have those extra tabs that fold in. So I'm going to turn it upside down and once again fold inwards along all of those score lines. So how this one will work is we've got our tabs on the side. So they're going to tuck in to the other rectangles to make the sides. So on this one, we need to turn this the right way up again and then put the double-sided tape on all of the 3-sided tab bits. Put quite a bit on because this is what's holding the box together. Right, I've turned it back the other way again. Make sure you don't stick those tabs to your table. And then I must have missed the inner bits when I was folding. Let's just do that now. Okay, so what we're going to do is hold in one of the tabs. I've got some double-sided tape stuck to my finger. And then fold that one upwards to get that perfect right angle again. And then put your fingers inside to stick it down. And do the same for the other side. So that's that one. And then my fingers inside to stick all that tape. And then on this side, you can do it both at the same time if you want to. So line it up. There we go. Fingers in, stick, stick, stick. And ta-da! Bottom of the box done. This is now all ready for you to add your little treats inside, and then you can stick the lid on and your Halloween treat box is all finished. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to make these cute little treat boxes for Halloween. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for loads more Halloween crafts. Thank you for watching. Bye!